Hello, happy early Thanksgiving. Thanks for watching today. Due to the time of year, I wanted to offer a gratitude meditation today. But first, I'll just guide you through like a gentle flow, and then we'll end with about a 7-ish minute meditation just focused on gratitude. So great one to do any time of the year, but again, of course, around Thanksgiving, our minds are turned a little more towards gratitude. But maybe I'll do it in about 6 months to kind of help us remember to always try to focus on gratitude because it does so much good. All right, so if you'd like to join me in this flow, you are welcome to find a comfortable seat. Also, always an option to be seated in a chair. You could be laying down on your back or even in child's pose. So taking your time to find your space. Sometimes it helps to move around a little bit. You can shift your weight side to side or even forward and back. Maybe beginning to notice the surface beneath you. And you might continue to move, or you might come to a moment of stillness. Whatever feels better for you in this moment here. And possibly taking a few breaths together. So just allowing that next breath to finish. And then maybe on your next breath in, just taking a full breath in through the nose. You can even lift your shoulders if you'd like. Then on the breath out, you might try breathing out through the mouth as the shoulders soften and relax. So let's try 3 breaths together here. So nice full breath in through the nose. Long breath out through the mouth. And again, as you breathe in, just try to notice where that breath goes into the body. Is it into the chest, the ribs, maybe the belly? Exhaling, just allowing things to soften and let go. And just one more breath like that. Nice long breath out. And then possibly finding some movement in those shoulders. Maybe lifting them up and down, or you might circle them. You can choose to move one shoulder at a time or maybe both at the same time. Or you might try going the opposite direction if you're circling them. Starting to bring some awareness maybe into those shoulders or even into the neck as you start to move the shoulders, noticing what you might feel in that area. And then as you're ready, just allowing those shoulders to come back to neutral or back to center. And on a breath in, you might lift those arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe the hands touch overhead, maybe not. And then exhaling them all the way down towards your heart. And then just lowering those hands to the floor, gently walking those hands forward. Just as far as they're able to go. You might start to feel a little stretch or sensation through the hips as you do so, as you walk those arms forward. Maybe starting to find a little more length through the spine as you do so here. You can also do this on the knees if you began in child's pose, maybe just extending those arms out in front of you. And then slowly walking those hands back up. And if those legs are crossed, if that's how you're seated this morning, go ahead and cross them the other way so the other leg can come in front. Once again, feel free to adjust or shift your weight side to side as you find your center here. Maybe feeling those sitting bones connected to the seat beneath you. As we come back to that neutral spine, those hands can rest on the legs or maybe on the floor. And maybe on a breath in, starting to turn that gaze upwards. And as you lift the gaze, you might feel the chest lifting as well with that gaze up. And then noticing those shoulders, see if we can just allow them to soften. Maybe drawing those shoulder blades down the back a little bit more. Just taking one more full breath here, breathing into the front of the body. And then on a breath out, possibly turning that gaze downwards, dropping the chin a little closer to the collarbone. And again, just noticing how the rest of the body follows as we move the gaze. So the belly might come in, the chest might come in, the shoulders, maybe they come forward a little bit. Just another breath here. Again, just noticing what this feels like through the spine or through the neck or anywhere else that draws your attention. And then inhaling, maybe we turn that gaze upwards towards the ceiling, once again lifting up through the chest as well, but letting the shoulders draw back and down. And then exhaling as we lower the gaze, maybe the belly draws in and the shoulders come forward. And then feel free to slowly continue to move up and back. But maybe you find a spot along the way that feels a little more, what's the word? Just needs a little more time, a little more attention. You can always stay and pause and hold anywhere along the way, in one direction or the other. Or you might continue to move with your breath. We'll be here for about 3 more breaths. And then in your own time, maybe coming back to a neutral spine once again. Just allowing those shoulders to soften here, and then let's take a full breath in as we lift those arms once again. Reaching them up towards the ceiling, maybe those hands connect, maybe they stay apart, up to you. And then exhaling them all the way down through the heart center, down to the floor, and once again we're going to walk them out in front. Now with the legs crossed the other way here, this might feel a little different than the first time. Maybe noticing a stretch or a sensation through one hip or through both. As you gently extend those arms forward, fingertips can come to the floor, or maybe the palms come to the floor. And just try to notice where you're creating some space here. Maybe through the spine, through the hips, maybe through the arms or the shoulders, and just try to breathe into those areas, filling that space, and then exhaling out some of that tightness we hold on to. And then in your own time, you can walk those hands back up. And let's uncross those legs, give them a little break here. Feel free to extend them out in front of you. You can move them around a little bit, or maybe even circling out the feet and the ankles. And then we're slowly going to make our way up to standing. So taking your time to get there. Just making your way up to those feet. You're always welcome to walk it around a little bit or move through those legs and those feet here. But again, just try to notice the surface beneath those feet, whether it's a yoga mat, maybe it's carpet or another surface on the floor. I'm trying to feel that underneath those toes, underneath the heels. And then on a breath in, once again, lifting those arms up towards the ceiling. Maybe the hands connect or they can stay apart. And then exhaling, let's lower them down towards the heart. And then inhaling, lifting those arms back up. Maybe bringing those hands together at the top. You can always interlace those fingers, maybe turn the palms up, or you can just keep those hands together. And then just finding a little side bend, reaching up and over to one side. You can try to notice once again the ground underneath those feet, pressing down into the ground, drawing in through the core, and just breathing into that side body where you might feel a stretch or some space here. And then maybe on a breath in, we come back up through center, and on the breath out, let's bend to the opposite side. Reaching, extending through those arms, grounding down into those feet, drawing in through the core, breathing into the opposite side. Inhaling, coming back up to center, and then on that breath out, as you lower those arms, maybe try to reach them back behind you, then we'll bend those knees, slowly hinging at those hips, folding over those legs, finding a forward fold. Just keeping that nice bend in those knees here. As we do so, feel free to bring those hands all the way to the floor, so bending those knees as much as you need to, and let's step our left foot to the back. Lowering down to that left knee. You might untuck those toes, or you can keep them tucked. And then inhaling, lifting that torso up. Maybe keeping that left arm extended, and then the right arm can lower down towards the floor. Inhaling, let's reach up as high as we can through that left side. So even the shoulder's gonna lift up through with the arm. And then as you exhale, maybe reaching down through the right fingertips, like you're trying to touch the floor. And you might start to feel a stretch or an opening through that left hip, the front of the left hip. And then inhaling, we can lift both arms back up. On our exhale, let's bend our elbows, dropping them down and back as we turn the gaze upwards. And then inhaling, arms back up, exhaling, hands to the floor. Tucking those back toes, lifting the knee. Maybe we step this front foot to the back. Let's find our downward dog. Feeling the mat underneath those hands, underneath the toes. And you might even put a little more pressure into the pointer fingers and the thumbs. That can help take some pressure off the wrists. Feel free to walk out those heels here, just bending one knee and then the other. Continue to lift those hips back and up. Just about 2 more breaths here in this downward dog. You can even move the head and the neck a little bit side to side or forward and back. And then just relaxing those heels down towards the floor. Let's take a breath in, coming forward to our plank, bringing shoulders above those wrists. Feel free to lower to your knees, or you can always stay on your toes. Exhaling, bending our elbows. Let's lower all the way down to the chest and the belly. And then on a breath in, think about just lifting from the back of the heart. Lifting up towards the ceiling as we lift the shoulders and the front of the heart away from the floor. Those elbows reaching directly behind you like you're reaching back towards those feet. Exhaling, go ahead and lower back down. Putting some weight into those hands as we inhale, lifting back up to those knees. And then maybe try tucking your toes here, then reaching your hips back towards your heels, a little extended child's pose. And then slowly lifting the knees, lifting those hips. Let's find that downward dog once again. All right, bending through our left knee. Let's draw this left knee forward towards our hands. And then stepping your foot to the front. You can always reach back and help that ankle forward, or you can walk your hands back to meet up with the foot. Lowering down to that right knee. Feel free to untuck those toes if you would like. And then on a breath in, slowly lifting that torso up. This is bothering my back knee, so I'm gonna lift my knee, but feel free to stay on that knee. And then go ahead and keep that right arm lifted as you lower your left hand down towards the floor. Nice full breath in as we lift up as high as we can through the right side, through the right shoulder, the right arm, the right fingertips. And then exhaling as you reach down with the left. Breathing into that right hip, the right side body. One more breath. And then inhaling, both arms can lift up. Let's exhale, cactus those arms, dropping the elbows down and back as we lift up through the gaze, up through the heart. Inhaling, arms back up. Exhaling, hands to the floor. And then go ahead and lift that back knee so you can step forward, bringing those feet towards one another, back to that forward fold. You can always feel free to keep a bend in those knees anytime you're folding forward. Let's take another breath in, lifting about halfway. You might bring your hands to your legs, or they can just hover over the floor, but try to draw up through the core as the crown of the head extends forward. Trying to keep the hips where they're at, keeping the length in the spine as we fold back over those legs. And then we're just gonna bend those knees and drop those hips and have a seat. All the way on the floor. Coming right into a little butterfly stretch, bring the soles of the feet together. You might try connecting the outer edges of your feet, but then gently opening the inner edges of the feet, almost like you're opening a book. Your hands can stay on those feet. You can even use your thumbs to give yourself a little foot rub, or hands on the ankles, wherever works for you there. And then let's take a full breath in, just sitting nice and tall, strong through the core. On our breath out, gently drawing that chest a little closer to the feet. And you can even use those hands with those on the legs to kind of help pull yourself forward, or you can walk those hands out in front. Or if this feels like you're pulling more from that lower back, you might try keeping your hands on the floor behind you and then just gently pressing forward. So we keep that spine long, but still getting a little stretch through the inner thighs here. We'll pause for about 3 breaths, giving yourself permission though to come out at any point. And then as you feel ready, you can stay here as long as you'd like. But when you feel ready to come out of it, maybe on a breath in, starting to sit back up, drawing those knees in, maybe bringing feet to the floor a little wider than those hips, and then hands can come behind the body. And then just gently bringing both knees over to one side, and then up and over to the other side. Rolling from one edge of the foot across the bottom of the foot to the opposite edge. Or maybe you notice the side of the hip connecting to the floor and then moving across those sitting bones over to the other side. Moving those legs, or you can pause and hold them anywhere along the way. And then after you even out both sides, feel free to bring those knees back to center. Just take a nice full breath in as we lift that gaze once again. Lifting the gaze, lifting the chest. Just trying to lift the heart away from those shoulders. Grounding down into those hands. You might try getting a little lighter through the hips. You can even bend those elbows if that feels okay. Just one more breath into the heart center. And then exhaling. Go ahead and come back to center. Coming off those hands, you can circle out those wrists a few times if you'd like. And then we're going to lower down onto our backs. But always an option to stay seated if you'd rather. But if you're coming down to that back, feel free to bring those knees with you. Maybe they come in a little closer to the chest. And if it feels okay on that lower back, just moving those knees gently side to side. Again, just trying to notice or feel the surface underneath that lower back. And as you move the knees, just what that feels like in the body, in the lower back, across those hips. And then feel free to add any other stretches, any other movements, whatever else you feel you might need in this moment. We're slowly going to move into Shavasana and into this gratitude meditation. So you're welcome to take your time getting there. You can always pause the video as well if you want to do a few more movements. But just in your own time, finding a comfortable space. So whether that is staying on your back with your legs extended, some people like to have their feet stay on the floor with the knees up. Sometimes that's a little better release for that lower back. Or you can also come up to a seat in a chair, on the floor. You can even rest the back against the wall. Lots of options, but just finding what feels most useful for you today to feel just a little more comfortable, maybe than you are even right now. Your eyes can be closed or open. If they're open, just trying to find a soft gaze, maybe one thing to gaze at. Feel free to even adjust, maybe shifting your weight side to side wherever you're at. Just finding a comfortable space, starting to allow the body to just settle in. Now taking a few slow breaths, letting go of any attempt to control or shape the breath, just letting it move in and out naturally. Allowing yourself to relax and let go of any tension or stress in the body feeling a sense of relaxed alertness, grounded yet present. And then let's start by noticing your current state of mind. What's the current tone of mood? How are you feeling right now in this moment? And just see if you can simply notice with no judgments of good or bad. And then let's shift by taking an inventory of all that you have in your life to be grateful for. Feeling gratitude for the people and circumstances that led you to this moment here today. Offering gratitude to your parents and your grandparents. Feeling the gratitude for the opportunities you've had in life, education, travel, and work experience. Considering the health of your mind and body. Offering gratitude for the health of your body. Feeling grateful for your mind and intellect. Feeling your appreciation for the talents and skills you have. Now considering your gratitude for the people in your life. Offering your gratitude to your immediate family members. Feeling gratitude for your extended family. Feeling appreciation for your coworkers and friends. And extending gratitude toward the mentors in your life who helped you grow into the person you are today. Now considering your gratitude for the earth, for water, food, and the air that you breathe in every single day. And now simply choosing the one thing that you feel most grateful for in this moment. Relaxing every muscle in your body. Let's go deeper into the experience of gratitude through a short visualization. Beginning by bringing to mind someone in your life who you care for deeply. A parent, a spouse, a child, or a close friend. Imagining them in your mind's eye. And recall a moment when you feel a particularly strong sense of connection with this person. This moment could be recent or in the distant past. Allowing your mind to go back to the sacred moment of connection. Remembering where you were, picturing the scene, the location, the people, the time of day, anything else that you see. See if you can go back to what you were feeling in that moment. Love presence, contentment, or true connection. Noticing any sensations or emotions that arise in your mind and body. And see if you can let go of any judgments, good or bad. Try not to analyze, simply allowing whatever you are feeling to come and go. Focusing on one aspect of this moment that you feel particularly grateful for. The person, the setting, your emotional state. And letting this experience of gratitude flood your entire mind and body. Taking just a few more breaths. Continuing to focus on this one quality of gratitude. And let's rewire the benefits of this practice. Savoring this experience of gratitude for just 15 seconds. Really let it sink in. When you're ready, opening your eyes fully. Slowly coming back into the room. Moving any parts of your body that might feel stiff. And as you go through the rest of your day, consider expressing your appreciation for the person you chose in this practice. It could be a text, an email, a card, or simply a mental wish for them. Then noticing how this expression of gratitude changes your day. So thank you so much for joining me today. I am grateful for each one of you and hope you have a wonderful, blessed day ahead of you. Namaste.